Túlio, first of all, thanks for being here. It's a pleasure to interview you. I would like to start talking about foreign investments in Brazil in infrastructure. Which segments in Brazil are considered most attractive for international investors, and how do you evaluate the infrastructure sector nowadays in Brazil?
Thanks for having me, Henrique. Thanks for the invitation, GRI. Well, I think it's most of the segments, Henrique, I would say that they are attractive to international investors. If you go into the details, for example, the telecom segment, it's a very hot topic nowadays, the data center business. Everybody is taking a look in Brazil because it's a huge market, because we have, energy. And if you go to tower business, if you go to fiber business, if you go to sanitation, you can see financial sponsors, pension funds from Canada, investing. You can see, funds from the Middle East, sovereign funds from the Middle East as well in the cap table in one of the main companies in Brazil. If you go to toll roads, you're going to see Europeans all around. If you go to airports, main European operators, they are around. Ports as well. So, all of the segments. Energy, for example, once again, most of the players, international players, they are in Brazil. I think we are a stable country. We have, regulatory framework. So those type of investors, of course, they need rule of law. They need to understand the country, not only the macroeconomic of the country, but the stability in terms of regulatory framework and rule of law once again. So most of the players, they are participating in the bids, they are participating in M&A auctions that is taking place in several years. So I do think that we are a big country, and most of the international players, they are paying attention in all of the sub-segments of infrastructure.
Perfect. Now talking about the challenges, we have high interest rates, high inflation as well, a global economic landscape that is challenging, trade war, etc.
Yeah.
How do you assess these challenges regarding infrastructure investments in Brazil, considering that we need more money, both national and international, to develop our infrastructure?
We always pay attention. This is a topic that we discuss a lot in depth in our investment committees. We have several impacts. Of course, when you have high interest rates, you are competing, especially for fundraising purposes. If you go to the market, if you go to speak with our retail investors or even to institutional investors as well, local, of course, investors, they are pretty comfortable allocating in fixed income related instruments because they have exposure to the bottom of the high interest rates, not only the long-term government bonds, but also Selic. It's also important to understand. And not only for fundraising purposes, it impacts us a lot, but especially projects itself. When you're gonna run feasibility studies, especially the government, when they are doing the feasibility studies, we request as investors higher returns. So the regulatory walk, it impacts a lot, and maybe tariffs, they need to be higher. You're gonna charge higher fees for the end users. So, it's very important to, of course, have macroeconomic stability. And on the opposite side, sometimes it's an opportunity to deploy capital because we can also benefit as financial investors with the decrease of interest rates. So if you put capital to work, if you deploy capital during times that you're going to have and obtain higher returns due to the current macroeconomic scenario, if you have the risk of the projects and also what we call lower discount rates, you can benefit from these macro improvements. So, we always assess in several different angles the interest rates and how they impact the investments that we are looking for.
Nice. Yesterday I heard that in a real estate discussion that this is probably the best moment to invest, and we are going to have good results in a few years. Do you agree with that regarding infrastructure as well?
I do agree. We're seeking for projects in Brazil. We think that it's one of the benefits that we can have. It is lower discount rates down the road in 4 or 5 years when you're gonna maybe exit the assets that we're investing right now. So it's a good moment to deploy. Of course, you need to have stomach. You need to be ready to digest the risks that we are facing, not only locally, but as you said, globally, the tariffs, things that are impacting us. But I think it's a good time to deploy capital.
Perfect. What is XP Asset's view regarding new financial instruments as infrastructure debentures? We know that there is no project yet using this instrument, but it's a new option. How do you assess this regulatory and financial framework regarding infrastructure?
Oh, that's interesting because the tax-exempt instrument, the 12431, the infrastructure debentures for individual investors, is something that we are one of the leaders as a platform, as a financial institution distributing this kind of product. The new one that is more focused for institutional investors, as you said, it's coming up. We are waiting to see the impacts, but say alongside with the traditional infrastructure debentures for individual investors and this new one, it's really important because it's another source of financing for projects. We cannot forget that 70-80% of capex of the investments of infrastructure, they are debt. So I mean, it's not only the equity sponsor important, but I would say that the debt side is also important. So we are very optimistic to see this coming infrastructure instrument to speed up and to grow and to improve more opportunities, more options to finance the projects.
XP is a leader platform regarding investments, so I assume you see this new instrument as an opportunity to bring institutional, right, for the platform.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, we are following closely this new rule, so we think that it will be another opportunity for us to play in this segment as well.
Perfect. To finish the interview, I would like to ask a short testimonial about this conference and GRI Club overall. Why do you participate? What value do you see at this environment of leaders and government, etc.?
Oh, I think it's a very great opportunity because it's funny because it's Brazilian meeting Brazilians, but we also have investors from LATAM, operators, lawyers, and it's a good opportunity to have updates, to have quick chats, to see the panels. So it's a great opportunity to be here, and I feel very productive this week. Last year I was here, and I plan to come here once again next year. So I think it's very important the role that GRI is playing here in the US and in Brazil. There is a lot of conferences taking place during the year. So of course you need to attend the ones that are the most important topics for you, but I think it's a very great opportunity to meet and to do network and things like that.
Perfect. Thank you, Tulio, so much for the interview.
Thank you very much.